regular micro meeting. Can we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Fabian?
Present.
Ms. Hannah? Ms. Lensing? Mr. McBride? Ms. Ramirez? Mr. Riddle? President Rodriguez?
Here, we do have a quorum. And Ms. Malusi, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I'm here. Now we
Oh,
have, now we have a
she
quorum.
was here a minute ago.
I was, and then I
was here,
And
yes.
Ms. Ramirez is
We do
somewhere.
have a quorum.
Yeah,
Is that correct? Okay.
you do now.
Okay. Pledge of Allegiance. Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is opportunity for public comment. Do we have a sign-up sheet? Thanks. Okay, when I call your name, please come to the microphone. You'll have 3 minutes to make your comments, and please state your name. First name on the list, Randy Specky.
Good evening. So I'd just like to talk tonight about superintendent's goals that y'all are going to vote on tonight. Looking at them, I think, be honest, these are some weak goals for a superintendent that's been in our district this long. 1.5%. So I'd like to know what the baseline data is for the reading growth goals, because if it's only 1.5% is the baseline must be really low. And why is this on? Why is this on attainment instead? And let's see. And then one of the other goals is, and I see we added the ELL on there. Why don't we have any goals on the DL department? Most of our schools are designated DL. A lot of the problems is with DL. So why don't we have any goals around the DL? And then goal, I think it was number 3, about our financial situation. We should already be doing that. We don't know what's coming down right now with spending in that. We should be looking at that not by March of 2026. That should be happening now and being changed now. We should be watching our spending because we don't know what's coming down. But looking at these goals and comparing them to last year, to me, these are some real low goals. You know, we expect more out of our students than we do on this. You know, you got to have a lot to run for as a student board member, we expect more from them. You know, they got to have a 2.0 GPA, they got to have this, they got to have that, they got to write this. And to have a superintendent in this district this long, and that's the goal, 1.5%, is ridiculous. We got to do better. And I hope you guys either vote no or hold it over and come up with some better goals than this. This is, every year it's just repeating, year after year. Either it's the same goals or we slightly change them with low percentages for improvement out of 12,000 students. And we can do better. That's all I got tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Sebecki. Next item on the agenda is closed session. I'd like to call for motion to move to closed session to discuss matters that fall under the following categories that are exceptions to the Illinois Open Meeting Act. C1, specific personnel appointment, employment, compensation, performance, and dismissals. C2, negotiations, and C11, legal matters. Motion by Ms. Fabian, second by Ms. Hannah. All in favor? Oh, no, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Fabian? Ms. Hannah? Ms. Lensing? Mr. McBride? Ms. Ramirez? Mr. Riddle? President Rodriguez?
Yes, motion carries. We are now in closed session. session at 6 p.m. to discuss matters that fall under the categories of the following exceptions to the Illinois Open Meetings Act. C1, specific personnel appointment, employment, compensation, performance, and dismissals. C2, negotiations. C11, legal matters. At this point, I would like to ask for motion to go into open session. Motion by Ms. Lenzing. Second by Ms. Fabian. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Fabian? Ms. Hannah? Ms. Lensing? Mr. McBride? Ms. Ramirez? Mr. Riddle? President Rodriguez?
Yes, motion carries. We are now in open session. Next item on the agenda, item 7, purchases and contracts.
I think we're on personnel, right?
Personal contract. Item 7.
There's nothing.
Okay, well, I have the agenda that was in board docs.
Personnel.
Shows personnel items.
It is the recommendation that the Board of Education accept the administration's recommendations to approve the appointments, retirements, and accept the resignations and terminations as found on schedules F1002, L949, T317, and G660.
We have motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Fabian.
Second.
Second by Ms. Ramirez. Any discussion on the motion?
I know. I'd just like to say that we are losing an administrator that has been in our district long before I came. And I know I've been here going on, I'm in my 29th year, and I think he's been here maybe 5-6 years before I came. And so, Mr. Angel Figueroa, he will be missed around District 60, and I have nothing but respect for Mr. Figueroa and the dedication that he has demonstrated throughout the years here in the district. And thank you, Mr. Figueroa, for just hanging in there, being here over the years through teaching, through administrative leadership, being the principal of your school. And so thank you so much for that. And you will be missed.
Thank you, Ms. Hannah.
I like, Ms. Hannah, I want to thank you for going first, because as I sat back and I was thinking, how do we say congratulations on your new endeavor, Mr. Figueroa? I thought, who would be more befitting, it's not coming out. Who would be the best person to state that, Ms. Hannah? And I'm glad you did, as one of the longest board members, as the senior board member that we have here. On behalf of District 60 and myself, not only are you a colleague in the work, you're a friend, you're a confidant, and part of my cabinet. You've been with me since the first day I walked in. I believe I met you even prior to walking in. You always had a welcome smile. You always had uplifting words. You always said the right things I needed to hear when I was frustrated or when I needed to calm down, and you were calming me down. I know that you have given this district 30 plus years of your life. Your family has shared you with us, and you've shared your family with us. You have been there for many students as a teacher, as a principal, working with adults and still students as the associate superintendent of human resources. Your dedication, your loyalty, your integrity. That role is a very difficult role in any organization. It's a compliance role. It's a yes or no role. I mean, it can be soft and warm. When we needed teachers, you found a solution. There was a national teacher shortage. We had shortages in DL and EL and in science and in math. And you were recruiting in Spain, and then you said, Teresa, I'm going to Puerto Rico. And then after Puerto Rico, I'm going into the Philippines. And officially now he has opened the doors so that we can start recruiting in Mexico. And for anyone that's in the recruitment business knows it's very, very hard to recruit from Mexico. But Mr. Figueroa and his team always got it done. And you continue to get it done. Just looking out with your staff being here, I know that you have been a role model for them, and your cadence within our district goes beyond anything that I can say. So as a Latina counterpart with you and a friend in the work, I just want to thank you on behalf of District 60. I want to thank you for your loyalty. I want to thank you for your dedication. And I just want to thank you, Angel, for always putting District 60 before even your own needs. And I recognize that. And so enjoy retirement. You will be missed. He is not gone as of yet. We will have the fiesta. And God bless you and your family.
Thank you, Mr. Senza. Mr. McBride?
Can I just add, he's not gone, and he won't leave. I hope you all understand this. I know how to find you,
And we're
and
going
I'm
to try
sure
to
we
draw
will be calling
We're
on
going to try to draw
you.
him back in.
So don't enjoy retirement too much. Don't get too comfortable.
Mr. McBride?
Well, Mr. Figueroa, I'm gonna miss your Army jokes. I know that much. Also, too, I want to say one thing about Angel. Every day, I always go to the Lincoln Center. I don't know why. I think it's my second home, and he's the first one I see when I walk in that door. Also, if I come there in the evening, he's the last one to leave. So that shows me dedication about you. And you also reminded me, I'm here. Look around. But Angel, I wish you good luck, and I know that you're a role model for a lot of people. I watched that when you was over at North School as a principal, and I just wish you all the luck in the world. And I'm sure you'll do well. Just keep marching like you've been marching. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McBride. Anybody else? I just want to say, Mr. Figueroa, when I heard that you were retiring, it was very sad. It's a very sad day because you've been with us for so long and you've been the rock. You're the one that's always there, and you always have a smile on your face, and you always have a greeting, and you always seem to have the answer to whatever problems everybody's talking about. And so it's sad to know that you're going to be leaving, but on the other hand, I'm happy to know that you have had so much success in your time with District 60. I'm happy to know that now you'll be starting another chapter of your life. And I don't know what it is yet, but I'm sure you have some plans, and this will give you a chance to do some of the things that you've wanted to do, spend more time with family, maybe do some things you didn't have a chance to do while you were working for the district. And I just want to say that don't expect to go too far, because we know where to find you, and we're going to try to draw you back in one way or another. So thank you for everything you've done.
I do believe we have an administrative appointment.
We have not.
We need to take the vote
We
first.
have not voted yet.
Thank you, Ms. Lindsay.
That
I
was
got ahead
just-
of myself.
That was just discussion on the motion. Okay. No other discussion on the motion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Fabian?
Yes.
Ms. Hannah?
Yes.
Ms. Lensing?
Pass.
Mr. McBride?
Yes.
Ms. Ramirez?
Yes.
Mr. Riddle? President Rodriguez?
Yes, motion carries. Item 8B. Oh, no, you have the appointments.
Yeah. At this time, I'd like to welcome Mr. Alfredo Gutierrez, who previously served as a bilingual data supervisor at Rockford Public Schools District 205. He will now serve as the manager of EL Student Data and Assessment with a starting salary of $90,000. Congratulations, Mr. Gutierrez.
Thank you. Now moving on to item 8B.
It is the recommendation that the Board of Education approve the Amendment 18 to the superintendent contract setting forth her performance goal for 2025 through 26 school year and authorize the board president to sign the amendment.
We have a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Fabian,
Second.
second by Ms. Ramirez. Any discussion on the motion? Ms. Hannah.
The goals were talked about and discussed among the board and the superintendent, and they were agreed upon as mutually by the board. However, I am of the mindset that that the goals should be a little bit more ambitious, only because of the length of time that 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 Superintendent Placencia has been here, and that I personally am looking more for attainment. Many of you know that I am an attainment person when it comes to student achievement. I'm not for all the growth because it sometimes does not get to the end results that we really want, and that is grade level attainment. And so I'm going to pass on this vote.
Thank you, Ms. Hannah. Any other discussion? Ms. Lindsay?
So I want to draw a clear distinction between the goals and the KPIs. So for the goals themselves, and it's in the attachment C, for goal 1, it's looking at our students that are engaged with SEL supports, and extracurriculars and tutoring before and after school, et cetera, to increase and reach students at an overall at least 31%. I'm appreciative of this because we did have some tweaks to how it was done last year. So I'm glad we are targeting students to make sure that they're engaged with school, because if they're engaged with school, it's going to impact their academics in an indirect way. Because if they're excited to come, then they can actually come. Right. And so with goal 2, I'm really appreciative that we're looking to focus on pacing of our new reading curriculum. Again, this is a reading curriculum that we have promised to the teachers will be in place in our district for 5 years. It is not going to change for them. And so this allows them to become masters of the curriculum itself. Last year was the first year, so it's understandable that they weren't on pace, but we still want to make sure that's a focus. So I'm really appreciative of this goal. For goal number 3, I do hear the public comment concern that this should be ongoing. The unfortunate situation is that we are in unprecedented times. So while yes, budget is always a concern, we have to think in multiple layers because we don't know what's going to happen. So there has to be anticipation from all sides so that we as a district can still service our students. That's our primary goal. And then I'm really happy with goal 4 as well, because we're going to really target and focus on engaging with our stakeholders, our students, our staff, our family, the larger community. This is huge. And we have a sense of belonging built into this goal. So those goals I am very supportive of. With Ms. Hannah, I am year after year concerned with these KPIs. The KPIs are the benchmarks based off of the Illinois report card. And so those metrics come from there and fuel whether or not those targets are hit. the frustration I have with these is that I want them to be real stretch goals, and I understand that this year is a complex year, but I also don't think that we should have a bonus on the table when we're having to have multiple conversations about our district's financing. So for that reason, because I support the goals but not the KPIs, I will also be passing.
Thank you, Ms. Lindsay. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Fabian?
Yes.
Ms. Hannah?
Yes.
Ms. Lensing?
Pass.
Mr. McBride?
Yes.
Ms. Ramirez?
Yes.
President Rodriguez?
Yes, motion carries. Item 9, financial reports.
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Education ratify the 1st September 2025 of board bills, manual check request payments, and Old National Bank insurance payments for the period of August 20th, 2025 through September 2nd, 2025. The accounts payable board payments for the period of August 20th, 2025 through September 2nd, 2025 total $1,203,272. The manual check requests payments for the period of August 20th, 2025 through September 2nd, 2025 total $2,546,695.35. Though National Bank insurance payments for the period of August 20th, 2025 through September 2nd, 2025 total $2,713,514.52.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Fabian,
Second.
second by Ms. Ramirez. Any discussion on the motion? Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Ms. Hannah?
Pass.
Ms. Lensing?
Pass.
Mr. McBride?
Yes.
Ms. Ramirez?
Yes.
President Rodriguez?
Yes, motion carries. Item 9B, open the hearing on the FY 25-26 original budget. We need a motion to open the hearing.
I make a motion that we open the budget hearing for September 9th, 2025 for the hearing of the budget.
Second?
Motion by Ms. Hannah to open the hearing, second by Ms. Lensing. Any discussion on the motion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Fabian?
Yes.
Ms. Hannah?
Yes.
Ms. Lensing?
Yes.
Mr. McBride?
Yes.
Ms. Ramirez?
Yes.
President Rodriguez?
Yes, motion carries. Hearing is now open. And I want to point out that this is a public hearing, and we're going to hear a presentation from our finance department, and public will have a chance to weigh in, make comments, ask questions. Thank you. Ms. Polk?
Board President, board members, superintendent, colleagues, and community. It is our pleasure tonight to present to you the original budget adoption information for FY26. The information that I am going to present tonight mirrors what we presented before, but as is customary, we're going to go over this presentation so that you can once again hear it. Next slide, please. I want to read the superintendent's commitment for this year. This is, you've heard it before, but I'm going to read it verbatim. WPSCC aims to optimize resource utilization while prioritizing the delivery of high-quality education for students, fostering a supportive work environment for staff, and nurturing collaborative, trusting, and respectful relationships with all stakeholders, including parents and community members. Much of this information you heard in the goals. Next slide, please. As you all are aware, we do the strategic budget process as opposed to rolling over. And so there's some advantages that we have in doing so. One would be aligning the resources with educational goals. Another, stakeholder engagement, because you all know that we have 3 budget workshops, and we also have a budget development committee meeting that we have. Continuous assessment resource management, and then obviously financial success, which is ultimately the goal of the district, to have the resources available to be able to do what we need to do, and that is to prioritize the education of our students. Next slide, please. This is also, again, reiterating why we shifted from the traditional perceptions of a budget to what we call strategic resource allocation. Again, this is a part of the superintendent's goal, which is financial, and I want to go over what is on the right side, which I think is extremely important, and that is to plan. Plan for developing the resources, prioritizing the needs. You've heard us say that multiple times throughout the years. Explanation, we do that during the budget workshops, and also you'll see that when you see the expenditures coming through in our reports. Institutional incentives, we have a lot of those. Empower the departments to engage. We transition to the SBB process so that the autonomy is now in the schools and supported by the districts. Predictor of our annual finance. Obviously, the budget process is extremely important in predicting where we're going to be at the end, because the budget itself is an estimate or predictor of what we're going to spend throughout the year, and a predictor of what revenues we're going to receive, okay? And then baseline measure of accountability, because the Board of Education, as this information is presented to you, and also the public to hear it, they have the opportunity to ask questions, and the board to approve and adopt the budget that is presented to you. Next slide, please. This is, again, I won't go over this slide. It's, again, reiterating the advantage of strategic budget planning with the outcome, the measurable outcome, to be the ultimate goal, right? Next slide, please. This is the budget calendar. We're required to have a budget calendar, and before the budget is to be adopted, we must have the budget on public inspection for 30 days, of which we did. In the board agenda item, you'll see the days in which it was placed in the local newspaper. And tonight, we're doing the budget hearing, and then after we do this hearing, then the board is going to be asked to adopt the budget as presented. Next slide. We had that budget development committee, of which 2 board members were a part. On April the 25th, we had representatives from every level of the district staff, as well as parents and community members. At that time, during the Zoom meeting, information was presented by the superintendent as well as the deputies, and constituents were able to ask questions as they heard that information come forth. And staff was able to answer those questions, I'm hopeful, in a sufficient manner, because we didn't have any follow-on questions come our way. Next slide. This slide is very important, because these were the general assumptions that were made in the preparation of this budget. 1, we assumed that the taxes would remain level. I want to again ask the board, you know that's what's going to come. I wanted to again ask the board to consider to not leave the taxes level. As you saw in the slide that we had, and I think it was budget workshop 2 or 3, we showed you the impact that has been on the district because we've kept the taxes level. So again, we're asking you, when that time comes again, that we have to submit our tax extension, that you allow us to levy to our maximum extent. We're assuming that the TRS will not shift to the local school district. That has been looming across the state, but that laws have not been passed, so that right now it's not shifting to the school district. So the assumption in this budget that is not going to happen so far. That there will be no fiscal impact other than what we're going to show you in this budget, based upon the executive orders or the elimination of the Department of Education. There is no guarantee. The legal office, Ms. Kathy Brandenbrock, myself, superintendent, the deputies, and others are constantly reviewing the executive orders and possible fiscal impacts. And so in this presentation, we're going to show you some of the grants that have been impacted or reduced. But our assumption in the creation of this budget is that other than those things that we're going to point out to you, there is no fiscal impact to this budget. We're assuming that there's no unexpected, at this point, spikes in compensation. That I'm just going to leave it right there. We're assuming that there's not going to be any huge spikes or increases in compensation. No additional delays or reduction in categorical aid, which is grants. We still have a number of grants that we do not have the application open by ISB. So we made assumptions based on historical data, and that's the best that we could do, right? So our assumption in this budget that there's not going to be any significant reductions in the grant allocations from what we are proposing. We're also, as I've said here, assuming that there's not going to be any delay in funding, in particular evidence-based funding, which we've not had in the recent years. But there was a time that the state did reduce our payments. So in this budget, we're assuming that there's no delays. I said the next bullet. And then that the district, and it has started to do this, to implement cost-cutting measures, to really look at processes, request expenditures, to see if there's places where we could reduce some of the cost. One of the things that I want to point out here is that with the board's concurrence, a priority was to give raises to personnel. And so with those raises to personnel, we have to be mindful of how we're spending the money in other areas. That was discussed when the board prioritized those raises. Okay. Any questions on this slide?
Oh, I don't have a question, but since you opened it up, I just have a compliment. With these general assumptions, I really appreciate the conservativeness that you've taken in order to prepare for the budget without completely hamstringing or restricting the district, because at the end of the day, we're here to educate our kids and provide them with a full education, not just the academic piece, right? And that includes our staff and support staff, et cetera. So I just wanted to compliment you that I feel like you struck a balance between those.
Thank you.
Ms. Hannah.
And general assumption here to implement a cost-cutting measure, and you are looking at a reduction of at least $3.9 million. Is that, okay, implementation of cost-cutting measures resulting in a reduction of at least $3.9 million due to reduction in revenue, right?
Okay.
Okay, and I am going to put forth some items that I have been looking at in terms of, where we can reduce spending, because everybody knows I've been talking about this for at least over a year now, about cutting the spending, okay, district spending. So I just think that at this time when we are talking about our budget and when we're talking about reduction, particularly $3.9 million, number one, I want to know where we're going to be reducing, because anything that hinders or impacts classrooms, student education, there's many more things that are not essential that I believe we should look at, and we just have to do smart spending to make smart spending decisions. And so I am proposing that in order to reduce the spending to get to that $3.9 million, that we reduce outside rentals for district meetings and events. And we really have a lot of them. And paying for outside venues when we have school buildings that meetings and events can be held in.
Can I pause you, Miss Hannah? I apologize. I agree with everything you're saying, and I'm excited for that list. I want to say that we have seen an example of that with the events for the Hispanic heritage. So I'm glad to see there's an example, and I believe you're wanting more of that.
Yes, and my other items are the use of, we pay millions of dollars for our food service, and we should utilize them, and we should get our money's worth, not just in serving the students, but we should use the district food service for all of our meals. That meals for meetings. Every time there's food, we should be utilizing our district food service, and that would cut thousands, tens of thousands out of the budget. The administrative travel that needs to be reduced, and we definitely need to cut out the outside consultants that we continuously bring into the district, and I call it basically a duplication of service that we're spending funds for. And also to stop the outside law firms unless it is absolutely necessary, and that there should be a limit of the amount of legal expenditures that that the board should agree on. But those things, I certainly hope, are taken seriously and looked at first before we start cutting anything in classrooms, away from students, any kind of after-school programs, tutorings, or anything. We need to look at all of the non-essential spending that we're doing in the district.
Superintendent?
Thank you, Ms. Hannah, for your very thoughtful list. And I will state that we have looked at some of the areas that you had named. I believe it's about 7 or 8 of them. I do want the Board of Education to know that our priority is not to cut direct services to students. An example of that will be tutoring, extracurricular activities, clubs. We're not looking to cut in any of those areas for this upcoming school year, as is reflected in the budget. As Ms. Pope goes through the budget, she will explain where we are looking at cost-saving factors for our district for this current school year. And so my suggestion, if you have questions now, please ask, is as she moves forward, I do believe it will give you another prism to see this overall budget and how it will impact day-to-day operations in District 60, and ensuring that we are providing direct services to all of our students.
Ms. Fabian.
So for me, I just don't want to make general blanket statements on what exactly to cut and who exactly to use, because we don't know what that's going to look like and if it's a cost savings or not. So I'm glad that you said that there's more to this presentation and we'll dive deeper. I think it also helps, you know, when we're able to see the full presentation ahead of time to make sure that then our questions are answered, and you're ready to respond. So, but for me, thank you for letting us know. We're going to have more details, but I think we as a board need to be looking at those things as they pop up.
Thank you, Ms. Fabian. Go ahead, Ms. Polk.
Yes, just to elaborate a little bit more on that last bullet statement, every Monday or at least once a week, the deputies and I and the superintendent are meeting to discuss the budget and or any challenges that we're having with the budget or anything that I see that is happening with the budget. And we have discussed some measures, initial steps that we're going to take to look at as cost cutters. One of them being food, as you've identified. Another possibly being some PD, as you've identified. And there's some other things. And again, I don't think it's so early to go over every single thing right now, because we're looking at the budget. We're seeing, we've talked about this, progress monitoring, if we're getting return on investment. We need to look at all of those things before we just cut, because maybe there's some impacts, positive impacts that we're getting from those expenditures, and we need to have those type discussions. Can I move on?
Please.
Okay. Next slide. I know this is a little small for you, but we wanted to present the grants, what we put in the original budget document in that second column, and then what the new estimates are in the current budget that we're presenting to you, and then what the difference is. You'll note that there is a difference of $2.8 million in what we originally presented to you at Budget Workshop 3. This is not due to an error that we made, but it's more information that's coming out from ISB about what the grants really are. And I think we told the board that in the previous budget workshops that it's an estimate, because we don't know. We simply don't know. But now that we know what evidence-based funding is, that's one of the biggest reductions, because we were estimating a 4.1% increase, which is what was approved for evidence-based funding. But when they allocate to each of our districts, our allocation went up, but it wasn't as high as we thought it was. So it's $2.2 million less than what we had projected. I think we got something like $4 million more. In the newspaper, you probably saw 6.1, that we got a 6.1 increase. But remember, we have Learn Charter School. So some of our money goes directly to Learn Charter School. So we ended up with possibly a $4 million increase. And in that budget document, if you looked at it, we increased it like $6 million, right? So that was one of the biggest. Another was the IDEA flow through. In past years, we had a huge rollover because we didn't spend the prior year's total grant. And so last year we maximized the grant, and I applaud that, right? We maximize usage of the grant. So we project that we're not going to have as large of a rollover coming into '26. And so therein lies, with the current year allocation and what we project is going to be the rollover from prior year budgets, it's a reduction from what we had in the original budget document of approximately $1.3 million. Again, that is not a mistake. It is simply looking at what the numbers really are, right, coming in. And so it's a shift from that budget document. So the others are smaller. We're not going to go one by one. You could see it there. But those were the biggest numbers that would make up that $2.8 million difference between the original budget document and what we're proposing now. Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, Ms. Hannah.
So we lost our, am I looking at this correctly? Oh, no, that's not E-rate. We lost the EIR.
ERR ended.
Oh,
That
it
grant
ended.
ended.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
that
it ended.
Okay.
And so we, at the time that I did the budget document, we had not claimed the final disbursement from the Department of Education, but we got that money in, I think on the 29th, right, Brian? Just before year end, right? So I had to take it out because we got it the prior year, 25.
And we're not going to get that anymore.
The grant closed. That's correct. Yes. And so the other difference, you're probably asking yourself why you're saying 3.9 and not 2.8. Well, we had a estimate of what the beginning fund balances were going to be and the budget. And so that shifted as well once we closed the year, and we had a better estimate of what the fund balance is, unaudited estimate of what the fund balance is going to be. So that's what makes up the difference. And so we were looking at adjusting the budget 3.9 million.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, going back, and maybe this is the superintendent question. The EIR grant, that's the science grant?
That is.
Okay.
Hands-on was in charge of that one.
Right. And so if this budget ended, right, and it's no more, what are we going to do with those staff members that came under this grant?
Miss Maluski, Miss Maluski is making her way to the podium.
Good evening, Board of Education, community colleagues. In collaboration with Dr. Zahn, who did lead wonderful work around this grant, the majority of the grant was for materials that went directly to the classroom. There was science materials, new desks and tables, a lot of equipment for kids in the realm of science. We did have a lot of professional development also that provided teachers with hands-on training for the STEM teachers to learn some of the new science practices. We did have a stipend built into the grant for Dr. Zahn to be the liaison between the Department of Education and all the requirements for the paperwork for compliance purposes. And we did hire an external consultant as a requirement of the grant, but they were a professor. And so we do not have any full-time staff employed through this grant. It was professional development for our STEM teachers. It was classroom materials for our science labs at our elementary level, and it was some additional stipends for the two Dr. Zahn and the external consultant. So there are no staff members impacted.
Okay, and so the consultant we're no longer
Correct.
needing them,
Correct.
and Dr. Zahn is going to go back into what she was doing before.
Dr. Zahn took on the responsibilities of the grant in addition to being a principal. It was amazing. So she did all of the work of her principalship during the day, and then she would do additional work beyond the work hours and weekends to execute the grant compliance. So she will no longer have to take on that extra burden and be able to focus on just her principalship. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next slide, please. One of the questions we get all the time is where is it that most of the money come from? And we see here that most of our money comes from the state. 71% of our money comes from the state because that's where evidence-based funding is. And then the other part comes from federal and then local. Next slide, please. What do we project that we're going to be in our operating funds? As we always say, our operating funds, if you're looking here, is the education fund, the O&M fund, the transportation fund, and the working cash fund. Okay, no expenditures come out of the working cash fund, but the working cash fund serves as like our internal bank account. So we're able to loan the money to other funds. And if you remember, you all approved a resolution to allow me to be able to loan the money between the funds when there's low cash flow. So we're projecting that as of 1 July of 25, that the education fund would have a beginning balance of about $51 million. Ed fund, 9.8 million. Transportation, about 8.5 million, and the working cash fund, about 41.5 million. So that leaves about $111 million across the beginning fund balances for the operating funds. The revenue we're looking at getting in the education fund from all sources, the local, the state, and the federal, about $245 million, about $8 million in Fund 20, about $14 million in the transportation fund, and about $128,000 in working cash and revenue. And so you'll note that the revenue that we're projecting is about $267 million, okay? So the next line, those are the projected expenditures. Any question? Okay. So you'll note that the projected expenditures in the education fund is about $268 million, and Fund 20 is about $10.7 million. Transportation is about $16 million. So we have expenditures, so about $294.7 million. So the fund balances are as noted here. We're looking at June of 26, about $28 million in the education fund, $7 in the O&M fund, transportation fund about 6.5, and no expenses, obviously, and working cash. So we're looking at having, as a fund balance, $41.5 or $41.6 million, so leaving about $83 million in the bank in terms of operating funds. This is where the health of the district lies. The other funds, although you might see some negative numbers there, that doesn't determine the health and the ISB financial profile is these funds, okay?
So Ms. Pope, clarify something, please. The projected revenue by fund is as it is appearing, and the projected expenditures by fund, it's also appearing here, and the projected expenditures versus the projected revenue, you got more expenditures than revenue. Could you please put that in perspective for me? I mean, I'm thinking I know what it is, but I don't want to not understand.
Yes. Every time we present this budget, that is your question, so I anticipated that one. And that is the current year revenue over or under expenditures has always been under. That has been since we had ARA right? When we came out of the negative fund balances, and I won't go through that story again, but when we came out of the $12 million negative in the education fund and the nearly $5 million in the transportation fund, we allocated the IRA money appropriately. And we shifted it where we had a positive $12 million in the education fund, which was a $24 million swing. Okay? So having done that, we know that if we retain the same staff, that we were going to have to spend from the balance. I mean, that's just what we were going to have to do. So if you go back to all of those documents, the current year, excluding the beginning fund balance, you would just erase that. But from the money that you get in that year and the money that you spend in that year, it was negative. But we had enough money in the bank to sustain us, all right? So that has been, I just thought about
kinda
that, man.
wiped
It's been
out.
about a
So
number
are
of
you
years.
saying it kind of wiped out the negative fund balances? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. When we got the IRA money, absolutely.
Yep.
We were getting tax anticipation warrants. We were getting TAWs to make payroll.
Oh, yes, I'm aware of that. But
Yes.
what I'm saying to you is that last school year, our budget, it reflected that our balances and our funds were in the red.
No, we've never been in the red overall. We've been in the red current year.
That's what I'm asking.
Oh, yeah, that's been for years.
That current year.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that, it's not red anymore.
It is red.
She said it's always.
Yes. It is red. The current year. What we're getting in the current year and what we're spending in the current year is negative,
Right.
right? But we have a beginning fund balance that doesn't put us in the red.
Okay, I get
We're
that.
positive.
So, and so with these proposed cost-cutting measures, that's not gonna happen in this budget moving forward.
Well, we're hopeful that it is. The budget that we are presenting to you tonight matches what we have in the ledger. Everything matches. What we talked about that we would cut or reduce has been reduced in our ledger. We would not stand here, I promise you, and present to you a budget that does not match what's in the ledger. It does match. But we are hopeful that we're going to continuously monitor the expenditures to make sure that we're maximizing those. I think that's what we said in Budget Workshop 3, and then also the goal that the superintendent has is that the reports that we will present to you during our monthly reports, financial reports, you're going to see it, right? Because it's going to have the fund balances and the treasurer's report. It's going to be there, right? And then periodically, I don't know what the superintendent wants to call it, whether it's a town hall meeting or a financial update, we're going to present information to the board about where we are financially. But the budget that we are presenting to you tonight is the budget that currently sits in the financial system.
Ms. Lindsay.
Okay, so this is where my brain is going. So if we look at the education fund, Fund 10.
Yes.
Right. The projected beginning balance as of July 1st this year is around 51 million.
Yes,
The projected ending balance is 28 million.
yes,
We're just going to rough call it, cut it in half.
yes.
The working cash fund can help support other funds should they go negative, correct?
Temporarily.
Temporarily.
Yes.
Right. So this does not look good for me when I'm picturing 2, 3, 4 years out. Is that a fair assessment or am I missing something?
No, that's fair. But one of the things that I want to point out too,
Okay.
the budget is a living document,
Mhm.
right? And so it is the worst case scenario. When I look at budgets in the office, and I've done this for years, and probably Mr. Rodriguez and Ms. Hannah remember this, we would present three different budgets, right? And that is the best case, probable, and the worst case.
Right.
That's what we would present,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even though we're not presenting that information to you publicly, in my office, we are looking at the budget. And the budget that we are presenting to you tonight, barring any surprises, is the worst case scenario, assuming that everything that everybody asked for is going to get spent, right? Again, the assumption that there aren't any surprises that we're not aware of. This is the worst case scenario. Has the worst case scenario happened throughout the years? No. But in the budget office, we have to assume that everything that's asked is going to be spent. And that information has to be presented to the Board of Education to present a clear message to you, as I have to the superintendent, to let her know where the district is financially.
And I appreciate that. And I think that understanding is important for the community because that quick level snapshot is going to raise alarm. And so the context around that, I think, can help people kind of take a step back and breathe and not get to an alarmist level. So thank you.
Yes. I think that is something that we need to monitor because this is the reality of where we are, and we need to be aware of it. Okay? Any other questions here? Next slide. The other funds, which are not our operating funds, one of the other things I wanted to point out, let me go back to that other slide. Inside of that $41.5 million, we have about $18 million that's sitting in there that's from the bond, that working cash bond, that $30 million working cash bond that we got. We have about $18 million that's still sitting there that we eventually will have to move out into capital projects. We go through operations and then we go into capital projects. So eventually that money's gonna have to go out. We have to spend it within 5 years, okay? Next slide. Fund 30, debt service. We're looking at ending with about 2.5. O&M, we're looking at ending with about $4.5 million. You'll see Fund 60 is about $19.8 million. And that fund, I want to kind of point out, buried in there is about a $4.8 million deficit that existed eons ago. It pre-existed most of us who are here, right? So it's buried in there. So really, you take that 4.8 million, then that difference is how we've built that up. But again, we have money that's in the working cash fund. That's from the bond that we will move to Fund 60. Fund 80, we're looking there at about $7.7 million deficit there. And then Fund 90, we're looking at about a $4.5 million. So overall, there's a deficit fund balance. We're looking at $16 million in the non-operating funds, with the bulk of it being in Fund 60, capital projects. Okay. Next slide. So this is just a picture of those side by side to see overall that we're projecting that we're going to end in the bank with about $67 million overall, barring surprises. Okay. The budget that we're presenting to you tonight does not require a deficit reduction plan. It does not require a deficit reduction plan. We wanted to show you the expenditures by fund and object being salary, benefits, purchase services, supplies, capital projects, and other objects and non-cap equipment. And so at your leisure, you can look at that. It's the same bottom line numbers as we had in the preceding slides. However, we just did it so you could see it by those object categories. Any questions there?
I appreciate that you did that because I was going to ask at the end of it if you could do that just so that people at home would be able to see what each fund was. So thank you.
You're welcome. And of course, you can see salaries in that third column. That's where the bulk of it is, right? Salaries, 268 million of the whole budget. And then benefits, we're projecting about 11 million. Next slide. We did the same thing by the functions of instruction, support services, community services, payments to other district debt, and then contingency. You'll see that instruction and support services has the bulk of the monies. The board member many years ago asked us to show if the money was going mostly into instruction, and so we just kept presenting it this way. So you'll see that the bulk of the money is going into instruction. Yes, ma'am.
And now, does that line item under instruction, does that include the salary and benefits for teachers? Okay.
Yes.
So in actuality, all of that instruction money is that it's only a percentage of the money that is actually for students.
Not
And
necessarily. Okay.
I understand about them semantics, okay? But what I'm saying is that, in all honesty, the bulk of the instruction, $106 million, is not going directly to the student, and it is for salaries and benefits of staff. You understand what I'm saying? See, okay, let me clarify something. I am talking about increasing the fund for student outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for student outcome. And I understand where you all say that the salaries for the teachers and stuff is directly for students, right? And I understand that, okay? I understand that. However, okay, the students, I need more resources that direct to them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I mean, I'll marinate them.
I have a quick question on that.
Yes.
Would it be helpful to have a subtotal under the instruction to call out exactly what's for benefits and salaries and what's for other components of instruction?
Yes, actually, the ISB budget document that we've attached provides clarity.
Yeah.
And so that to respond to you, Ms. Hannah, you have a lot of expenses that's in the support services that are directly in the school. You have principals, you have social workers, you have nurses, you have a lot of things that's not in the 1100 or instruction category, but it directly impacts student learning. So it's not as easy to look at just that category of instruction and say that the other areas are not impacting academic achievement, because it is.
Okay, right. And now I'm marinated. I'm done marinated. Okay, you know how they say that help me, Kathy, with this. Student, like, per capita?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay, do you understand what I'm asking?
What it costs to educate a
Okay,
student.
each
Yeah.
student,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That we need to raise that.
Yes, I definitely agree with you. ISB, if you're listening, we're at 71% adequacy. So we're still tier 1. So we're not getting the maximum or the
The
level of funding that's
Right.
required to really increase that sufficiently, at least how we want to increase it. But I believe that these numbers show that a lot of the money is going into the schools, whether it's facilities, whether it's direct instruction through teacher salaries, through the supplies, the equipment, all of that. It's added in a formula much more complicated that I could stand here to explain, to create that per capita. And the last I look at it, we were something like 14,000. Don't quote me, but I just looked at it just recently. I think we were somewhere around there. So we weren't very low at all. I mean, given the fact that the board has over the years put millions into capital.
And that's gonna change because of the enrollment, right? The funding is going to change because of the enrollment.
I can't really say that, because if enrollment in other school districts is going down
low.
approximately the same, then it is based on enrollment across all of the
Okay, so
districts that
that's
are
what
like us.
ISB does.
Yes,
ISB does it
yes.
across.
Right, that's
based
why I it's hard for us to project or predict. We look at what ISB is asking for as an increase to evidence-based funding, and we kind of use that number to do the projection. But how they allocate the money, I don't know. We just
And we also
Yeah.
know that other districts, like
Yeah.
statewide, we've been seeing a
Going down.
decrease of students in our public
Yes.
schools.
that is true.
Okay.
Any other questions? Next slide. Questions?
I'd like to ask if anybody out there has any questions or comments they'd like to make.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
And thank you to your staff as well.
All right, next item on the agenda is closing the hearing. I'd like to ask for a motion to close the hearing on the FY 2025, 2026 original budget.
I make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Hannah, second by Ms. Ramirez. To close the hearing, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Hannah,
Yes.
Ms. Fabian,
Yes.
Ms. Lensing,
Yes.
Mr. McBride, Ms. Ramirez, President Rodriguez.
Yes, motion carries. The hearing is now closed. Item D, would you like to read that?
Yes. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Education approve the FY 2025-2026 original budget as presented on the official Illinois State Board of Education ISBE document, which are summarized in the budget presentation for ease and review.
I make a motion
Motion approved
for
by,
the adoption of the FY 2025-2026 budget.
Second?
a motion by Ms. Hannah, second by Ms. Lenzing. Any discussion on that motion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Fabian?
Yes.
Ms. Hannah?
Yes.
Ms. Lenzing?
Yes.
Mr. McBride?
Yes.
Ms. Ramirez? President Rodriguez.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, Ms. Polk, would you please, where's Ms. Polk? Oh, would you please tell us what the next steps are? Just outline it so that everybody understands the process.
Once the Board of Education signs this
Number
document,
10.
which we're about to give to Jasmine, then we have to forward that document to the State Board of Education, and then a copy also to the regional office for publication on the state's website.
Thank you very much. Okay, item 10, student discipline matters. Ms. Lenzing, you wanted to make a comment on that?
I just want to make a general comment that I'm really happy that we're starting the year where we're not seeing any items on this component to the agenda, and I'm hoping that continues as long as possible. So
Amen.
good job, everybody.
Amen, thank you. Okay, item 11, motion for adjournment.
Moved.
Motion by Ms.
Second.
Lenzing to adjourn, second by Ms. Fabian. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Don't go away. We have 2 more meetings.
Yep.
We're going to take a 5-minute recess before we start the next meeting.
signature by your name, please? Right by your name.
Yeah, I just paid somebody to pay for their gas, take me down there, and when I get done, they come back and return the machine.
Ms. Polk said she was just gonna send it like that.
Ms. Hannah, we're going to get started.
Put me as an A. Just tell her to put a, you want me to initial?
Okay, it is 8:20. I would like to call to order
Sign next to your name.
Can everybody's attention, please? Can everybody's attention, please? Board members, I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, September 9th, 2025 Operational Services Committee meeting. Can we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Fabian?
Present.
Ms. Lency?
Present.
Ms. Hannah?
Yes.
Mr. McBride?
Yes.
Mr. Riddle? Ms. Ramirez?
Yes.
And President Rodriguez?
Here. We do have a quorum present. Item number 3 is approval of the meeting minutes, and these are the minutes of the August 12th, 2025 Operational Services Committee meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Lensing to approve.
Second.
Second by Ms., that was close, by Ms. Hannah.
Well, no,
Ms. Ramirez.
Ramirez, okay. I'm glad we have 3 judges. Do we have any comments, corrections, changes to the minutes? Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Fabian?
Yes.
Ms. Lency?
Yes.
Ms. Hannah?
yes.
Mr. McBride?
Yes.
Mr. Riddle? Ms. Ramirez?
Yes.
And President Rodriguez?
Yes, motion carries, minutes are approved. Item 4, discussion items for possible board action. Mr. Moten?
Yes. Good evening, members of the board, staff, community, superintendent.
Is your mic on?
My mic on?
Yeah, okay, it is.
Yes, all right. Good evening again. So we don't have any discussion items for you this evening. We do have 4 information items. I'm going to reference the information items for you. We do have staff members here who can assist if there are any questions. Our first information item is item A, approval of architect selection for decennial life safety survey. Okay. Item B is the architect certification of annual temporary facilities report. Ms. Lindsay.
The timing of this, I feel I say it every year. These mobile classrooms, 10 of them go back to 19, or not 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7, 6. 6 go back to 1996, right? So they're very old structures. I understand, given the current climate that we are in, it's not going to be a high priority, but I am hopeful that the review of these is ongoing and looking for opportunities to where we can move away from the mobile classrooms.
And
Ms. Hannah?
Mr. Moten, when I was looking at the reports, the facility reports, there were the meetings. Just wait, let me, because there's some things that are not acceptable on that when about those mobile classrooms. There's several of them that, according to how they were evaluated, kind of downright dangerous.
So I think an example of that, Miss Hannah, that you're referring to is, so at Glen Flora, is the roof and flashing in good condition was marked no.
Can I speak?
Yes,
I see
ma'am.
this, please? Thank you, because I couldn't get mine. And and I went through every last one of these, and there were some very disturbing in general, and several of them had the exterior appearance of the building. It's not good. Okay, but that's not, they were talking about the roof and the flashing.
Mr. Moten, do you know if it's roof or flashing or potentially both when that's
Probably
marked?
both.
Yeah,
'Cause they're
potentially both.
different parts.
Got it. It is, but like it's combining 2 things into one sentence. So it's, very different price structures.
Yeah, and then the restrooms, there are the restrooms clean, adequate, and operable condition and properly ventilated, says no. And that's unacceptable. But my question, when I looked at that, either are they going to be repaired, removed, or what are you planning to make those structures safe for our students and our staff? Because I know I walked into one of them and I thought I was going to go through the floor. Okay, and we don't want anything like that to take place. So what's your plan
Yes.
for those mobile class?
Yeah, so thank you for the question as well as the comment. I'll do my best to address both. As was stated earlier, 29 years in service for a majority of these mobile units, I believe all with the exception of one at Clark Elementary. And this is a process we go through every year. Our architect of record certifies occupancy and we do minor repairs with the understanding that at some point we will need to have an elimination plan for these mobile units. This has been a subject of conversation on the Capital Improvement Committee for quite some time, and it is going to continue to be. It is a cost, but it's also how are they being utilized that would go into that discussion compared to other priorities throughout the district. So that will be a subject of conversation, Ms. Hannah, and I know you're going to be one of the representatives on the Capital Improvement Committee this current year, and we'll definitely be discussing it as we have in years past, either to remove or to consolidate some of these structures based on age and conditions as you've seen them in the report over the years.
And I remember when we brought those mobiles into the, and I also thought we were supposed to only keep those for a certain amount of time. And has that time expired and we just didn't do anything? Or what's gonna happen?
So these units, a majority of them have exceeded their projected life, and we've been maintaining them on an annual basis to utilize the space for the schools, for our students. But
That
again,
was when our enrollment was high.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think that now we need to be doing some reviewing because of the drop in enrollment.
Noted, Miss Hannah.
Thank you.
thank you.
Ms. Lindsay?
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to comment, like, when I was going through, it's around 28 classrooms of kids in these units. And I just double checked. It's only two of them are at the Clark Elementary, which is a 2016 one. So
Thank
that's
you.
a lot of kids.
Thank you.
All right, our next agenda item is TK Elevator Service Agreement. All right. Item D, renewal of Network Technology Innovation Service Agreement for the 2025-2026 school year.
We do have a service maintenance service agreement, warranty
So, Ms.
on
Han,
our stuff.
so this is a renewal for service. We do have a certain warranty for new items we've purchased, but these are for our video surveillance systems, which some are new, some are old. Mr. Wilson, you can come speak to it, please. Thank you.
Good evening, board members, community. Ms. Hannah, yes, all of our equipment comes with a manufacturer warranty on it.
Okay, and after the manufacturer's warranty, we just have to kind of get the cost.
Well,
the
the cer-
district has to pick up the cost of repairing after the warranty and stuff are gone.
The cameras have a very long shelf life, Ms. Hannah, and the service agreement provides for preventive maintenance. That's why we want to go into that.
Okay, okay, very good.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
And we do have 4 reports for you this evening. Are there any questions on the reports that are attached?
I know we've spent 67, but just about $68,000 in waivers. And I remember when we first talked about even putting it into policy and assigning in different categories and everything, but it appears that everybody that we are waiving fees for, just about $69,000 worth, okay? They're in the same category, and I didn't think that that was how we had structured the fee waiver. I thought that we had like 3 categories of how we were going to be determining fee waivers, but it just seems like everybody got to wait.
So only certain categories can apply for fee waivers. We're not going to be able to do fee waivers for all categories because that's how we structured it. And are you saying like, what different categories are you seeing that?
I am saying that, could you explain, Mr.
Sure.
to Miss Baby and what I'm talking about, the categories? That was how it was structured.
Right.
So we currently have 6 categories now that we've added the facility waiver, the facility request as a category.
The new one.
Some categories are not eligible for waivers. Some are eligible for partial waivers now. So a majority of what's brought forward, I believe it's category 3, category 4, if I'm not mistaken. Those are the only ones that are eligible for the waivers. So that might be why you're seeing some consistency in how they're categorized, because some categories are not eligible at all.
I thought that when the organization made profits, that was when we did not waive, but we are.
Am I wrong, Mr. Milton? Because I may be following this wrong, but based off that question, the board approves fee waivers. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Right? So any fee waiver that was put forward would have to be approved by the board. So if you're seeing a fee waiver or amount, those have all been pre-approved by the board. So that is up to the board and what your stance on what you want to approve or not approve. But the administration will always bring that forward for you to
Absolutely.
make that decision.
But
Right,
I want to
and that wasn't
clarify,
even the question.
we don't get any fee waivers for profits because they're not eligible. So everybody on this list, I don't see anybody on this list that's a for-profit entity.
I understand, but I didn't say for profit because we have people that are going to be benefiting through money in what they're doing, but we're still waiving fees, even though they're nonprofit organizations. They're still going to be collecting money. Okay, and we're still going to be awarding waivers to those organizations.
That's something for the board
Yeah.
to decide on
And
a
I think that's
case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So it's not out of our hands.
I get it. I understand. Thank you.
Mr. Moten?
That concludes our agenda.
Oh. Sorry, I thought we were still. I just want to make a quick comment about the Yeoman Creek, primarily because Mr. Riddle's not here, and he would have he would have made a comment. So I'll make it in his stead. So there are still, according to the website, which is powermarket.io, there are still 1,313 spots remaining. I don't qualify because I live north of Gulf Road. So there are some location restrictions, even though you live in Waukegan. If you live outside of the Illinois designated area, you don't qualify to receive this. So I am jealous of everyone who does. So please maximize on this benefit. Go ahead, get on powermarket.io, look for Yeoman Creek, and click on it to sign up. If you do live on the northern side, if you are receiving services like SNAP or Medicaid, you can still qualify. So go through the process. Please sign up. This is something that we're excited to bring to the community as a benefit. Please take advantage of it.
Thank you, Ms. Lindsay. Ms. Fabian?
I also want to thank the staff who put out that advertisement for our families to know about it. I don't know if there's a way, well, I know there is a way, I should say. I don't know what department it would fall on to maybe create a quick video on how to get to that website, sign up, and really explain how it works so that people are understanding that it is a discount to their bill and it's not a catch, you're not switching services, et cetera, et cetera. The other thing that I know Mr. Riddle would have pointed out is the delays, because I know he's been waiting and waiting and waiting. And so, again, I think it's just the frustration of the continual delays, and hopefully we can get ourselves back on track at some point.
Thank you.
If I may, in the spirit of Mr. Riddle, so they do have an estimated commercial operation date of October 31st, which is next month, with substantial completion December 12th. And you do notice the photographs at the end of the report. So we are weeks away from this being fully operational, and appreciate the comments on the available applications as Power Market is navigating that, and perhaps that can be part of a future update, because there have been a lot of questions and comments on the application process, as well as, you know, how many people have applied, et cetera. So thank you for that feedback.
And thanks to Mr. Riddle for all of his concern and interest in this project.
Yeah, well done, Mr. Riddle.
Okay, I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Motion by
Second.
Ms. Lensing, second by Ms. Fabian. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned at 8:38. Don't go away. We got one more.
Sorry, you're coming in.
That's why they both bottled water.
Sure, good.
Don't wait, that makes it a little bit more.
Yeah.
We're going to start. You almost.
We're doing this many.
You still need some peels?
I
Hello,
would
Dr.
like that.
Cesario. How are you?
I'm well.
Are we set? Okay, good. All right, I would like to call to order the September 9th, 2025 Student Achievement Meeting. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. McBride,
Yes.
Mr. Riddle, Ms. Hannah,
Shannon will be right back. She just stepped out.
Ms. Fabian,
Yeah.
Present.
Ms. Lensing,
Sorry. Yes.
Ms. Ramirez, President Rodriguez.
Yes, we do have a quorum
We were
present.
going.
Next item is the approval of the minutes of the August 12th, 2025 meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Lindsay. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Ramirez. Any comments, corrections, changes, to the minutes. Can we have a roll call vote, please, to approve?
Ms. Ramirez, Mr. Riddle, Mr. McBride,
Yes.
Ms. Lensing,
Yes.
Ms. Fabian, Ms. Hannah, President Rodriguez.
Yes, motion carries. Minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda, information items. Dr. Cesario?
Good evening, Board President, Superintendent, members of the board, colleagues, community members. So before you, you'll see a number of information items. The first one is a renewal of for ACT or pre-ACT assessments. This is to prepare our students so they're familiarized with the ACT exam, our high school students, before they take that. Okay. Item B is an opportunity for Dr. Fields to attend the Aspiring Superintendent Academy for Female Leaders. She was accepted into the program, and this is an opportunity for her to develop her skills in the leadership arena.
For the record, Ms. Hannah rejoined the meeting at 8:41. Ms. Fabian?
On the documents at the top, it says estimated trip cost is $10,800, but then on the bottom says $9,800, and on our board it says $9,800. So
get that
just
cleaned up.
trying to figure out the discrepancy in numbers and the cost. And then, I mean, that's a lot because I see it's just one person going, and I see the registration cost is almost $5,000. Will she, yeah, for one.
It's got 3
For-
days.
Right. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. So it looks like she's going to all 3 dates. Is she getting some kind of certificate or
It
like,
is.
is this a,
It is, and I can let Ms. Maluski or Dr. Field speak to this, but it is, it's not a professional development, it's a coursework, so that she would be engaged in this, not only virtually, but then also attend in-person sessions.
so then the question is, I know that staff members have reimbursement for coursework. Would it not go from that instead of as a PD?
Well, there's travel
Travel.
involved, and therefore it has to be presented in front of the board as well,
Okay.
because of the travel.
And it wouldn't count against her benefit then for coursework?
To get to the course, they have to
Um,
travel.
Yeah, because I thought
Doesn't that mean
that
she would
this
be able to do
is,
it twice,
this
right?
would be, if I may, or
Yeah.
I thought that this was like an aspiring superintendent academy. And with all due respect to any and everybody, I thought that this was like a school or schooling for your, you know, that this is something that you wanted to do. And I didn't know, I wasn't aware that, that we paid for, or the district paid for, individuals to go and to receive, school for superintendent.
So we're
I didn't know that. And it should be, as Ms. Fabian said, education tuition.
Yeah, like part of
like
the, part of her
a
benefits
So we-
package.
benefits or something.
So we can go back and look at that, and then, of course, this is presented, all of these items are presented for your consideration. So, and the feedback has been really helpful, so we can go back and review that. I'll make sure.
I think we're going to get some input.
And
Did Dr. Fields want to say, did you want to speak to this, Dr. Fields?
Right.
I just want to give you your opportunity if you wanted to speak to it.
Yeah, I would just clarify, I would consider this professional development. Although it is like an education
just have one
track, it is a
conversation
cohort
at a time?
structure, but it is not like a licensure program or education credential towards any type of degree or certificate in that sense. It is professional development. It is more so leadership development for women in general that are in roles similar to myself. And so some of the skills directly align to a lot of our initiatives here. But yeah, like he said, it is an honor to really be selected for something like this to represent the district.
Thank you, Dr. Fields.
And what is the total then? Is it 10 or 9?
It's the 9, and that is an estimate, a high estimate. And so obviously we'll try to secure things much less than that, but that is a high-end estimate.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Cesario?
All right, our next item is letters facilitator to train the trainers. This is part of our core phonics program.
And as I said in earlier meeting, that's the travel and so forth. We should be looking to streamline some of this stuff because I believe that we have individuals in our district that are already trained, educated, and knowledgeable about many of these things, so much so that they would be able to facilitate many of the things that we pay our staff to go to. Our staff is educated and experienced enough, where they could do it, and we shouldn't have to continue to expend funds for the travel and stuff.
You're absolutely right, and in instances where we can do that, we do that, but there are often things that are specific and to the plan that we have, and there are specific training that we have to send people out.
And so, and when you guys, I guess maybe I've asked this question before.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like all of the different PD and conferences that that are, just say, I'm gonna use this agenda here, that are listed here. Were those sought out conferences, or were the conferences like in invitation, which they invite everybody across the country to? And so I'm asking again, how are the conferences chosen to go to?
This is specifically related to the letters training, which is aligned to our phonics program. So that's what the focus is here. So we sought this out because it aligns to the work that we've been doing in this area. In terms of the other ones, I'd have to look at them individually to talk to you about if it was.
Yeah, because I'm talking about overall.
Overall.
Just
so just a general question, not
one.
this one right here.
Right.
Sure. I think it depends on what the topic is. And in some instances, in most instances, what we try to do is ensure that it aligns to the work that we're doing. That's the question first and foremost. How does this align to the work that we're doing? How does it align to the goals that we have? So that's it. The second piece is, if it is local, we'd prefer to do it local. Or if it's virtual, to do it virtually. There are some, there are a couple later in here, I think, that the assistive technology being one off the top of my mind, and correct me if I'm mistaken, Dr. Bublitz, I believe that's one that only happens in wherever the location is. It's not one that we could bring somebody in. They have it one time a year. There's a few that they have in certain locations. But we do try, in an effort to be really cognizant of how we're expending our funds, we do try to bring in folks. We do have our own people do the training, but there are also opportunities that we have to go out.
Can I ask a big question then? fine. Okay, can you tell me, because I've heard grumblings, right, that, that, that administrators are limited to conferences, the number of conferences that they can attend? And could you explain what
Do you want me to? I can do it.
what that is? Because I am curious, and where the limit, and does everybody, all administration, have the same limit?
So that's a great question. So again, in the line that we were just talking about and being conservative financially, we want to make sure that we're providing opportunities for people to go out. So for me, myself, I did say to my team, here, let's look at 2. Let's map it out across the year, make sure that it aligns to our work. However, if you need to do one outside of those 2 or above and beyond those 2 rather, then please let's have a conversation about it. In addition to that, if you sit on a board or if you're representing Waukegan either because of your representation in association with an organization and or you're presenting, then that would be something additional on top of that. Pardon me?
No, that's different.
It's different, right?
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to share what we're doing and celebrate the success of our team. But at the same time, the other note about limiting the number of times too is because if we're going out and learning things, there has to be an ample opportunity to implement those. So if you're going to something every month and there are multiple pieces, it doesn't align with trying to focus on something and getting really good at that, right? So just having that opportunity to do that and really implement and really implement what you're learning, so that you're not going to 10 different ones a year without having that opportunity to take it back and practice some of those skills that you're learning.
Lindsay?
Oh, you opened a door, Dr.
Please
Cesario.
Please go
Because when I joined the board 2 years ago, we got board concurrence, and it still has not happened, for a report on how the administrative professional development has impacted student learning. So that's a bit of a rough spot for me because board concurrence was done and it still hasn't been done. But I'm going to use this as a moment to say I think it would be beneficial, Superintendent, to possibly have as one of our presentations every year, here are the development items that we have invested in, and these are the things we are inputting into our district and utilizing. Because Dr. Cesario, you just said you have to go out and learn, but then you have to come here and apply. So I think an annual, semi-annual report on what those investments are resulting in our district is a fair ask. And if we need a board concurrence for that, I am happy to request that.
I certainly hope so.
But outside of that, can you confirm for me the percentage of staff that would be appropriate to receive letters training have been certified?
I would have to ask.
And if it's a
Mr.
follow-up
Crowell
for
or yes, you have that information available.
Thank you, Ms. Crowley.
So we started 2 years ago
Mm-hmm.
offering letters training for teachers who wanted to opt in. At the end of this year, we will have trained approximately 40 teachers. And we had some middle school teachers join us as well.
Yes,
This train the trainer model will equip us to train every K-5 teacher in a period of 2 years at a reduced cost of about $350,000. So that's the purpose of training in-district facilitators. And then beyond that, every elementary would have their own letters trainer. So after the initial 2-year implementation, every new teacher in the elementary would be able to be letters certified.
That's wonderful.
I'm doing so many, like, I'm visibly excited, but there's just so much more in my head because of what we can do with this training.
Yeah, so if you read the proposal from Letters, it would have, had we not hired a single new staff member, it would have taken us 20 years to certify all of our teachers at the rate we're currently moving. Our goal is to reduce that from a 20-year plan to a 2-year plan.
And this feeds into our goal of being the most literate city. So I'm excited. Thank you. That's on the
But
slide.
there's one question, and you already know that I am looking at. I keep hearing K5, K5, K5. We're a unit district, and we have middle school students, we have high school students that needs the resource that support
You're absolutely right.
too. And so, I keep hearing K5, 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 but what about 612, 612,
You're absolutely right. And just to clarify, it is a district-wide plan. Our Literacy for All is a district-wide pre-K 12. So as Pam mentioned, we're having people trained at teachers trained at the middle school level as well. I'm going to let Jen speak a little bit more about what we're doing at middle and high. We've not forgotten that. We know it's a continuum. We know we need to support students at all levels. We're also dealing with something else and making sure that we're building a strong foundation as well. So the approach is a little bit different. I will let Ms. Royce de la Sanchez speak to that.
Thank you, Dr. Cesario. Good evening, board. I think one thing to think of, just to put it into perspective, on the roadmap of from preschool all the way through 12th grade, all those 13 years, is we do say K-5 a lot, Miss Hannah, and that's really around because it's that foundational skills and the layers of the pillars to develop underneath them. However, we switch that language, especially for a student that does have all of those foundational skills and are at the attainment that you spoke of earlier, because we switch it to disciplinary literacy. Once we move past that, we want to prepare our students with early foundational skills that build, so when they get into content-based subjects, that it's through the lens of each discipline. And so, we've spoke about how do we have literacy through history? How do we have literacy through science? And how are we reading, writing, speaking, and listening across all of our disciplines? We're reading music, financial literacy, right? That multiple literacy piece. So a lot of it is when we really are pouring it into the theory of an if-then. If we build it here at those early ages and we pour all of our support and our teachers that are very, very strong in that it lifts and raises through that disciplinary literacy piece. And it is absolutely true. We do have students that are in middle school, that are in high school, that are still struggling to read with those foundational skills that we speak of within their K through 5 experience and beyond. And so what we've done, and we're in our second year of using iReady at this time, specifically to speak to right now within middle school. And iReady is a resource that when we fought really, really hard and collaborated really, really hard across all of our middle schools to insert an intervention block. We needed an intervention block in order to support the literacy, the explicit literacy need of learning how to read. If we didn't have that, it's difficult to put it into time and place when a pace is fast and this curriculum is here and it's moving, when a student needs really intense support. iReady helps us do that in a structure of having an intervention block, which is what I need, a win block in our middle school. And in year one, which was last year of middle school, we started within our first year of creating a comprehension intervention literacy block. Students that were struggling at a second and third grade comprehension level that got an additional scoop of daily support and sometimes a few days a week support around comprehension. The cool thing was, with iReady and how it's supporting us, is that we're getting so granular with our data, and our staff is getting really savvy with the data that through their MTSS process, they're realizing and analyzing how well students are doing in areas that they're still struggling with, that they needed explicit phonics, even more deeper than just comprehension. We needed more. We're missing that explicit phonics piece because that leads to that comprehension. So this year, we had some trailblazing work we spoke of at the end of last year. I stood up here and was talking about the trailblazing last quarter that Lewis did for us. So now we actually have 2 intervention blocks that are happening at middle school. We're noticing the differentiated needs of our middle schoolers. We have students that are ready for that comprehension, and they're in those comprehension intervention blocks. And we have students that are really still struggling to read and pull the print off the paper, and they are receiving phonics intervention blocks. And we continue training, much like that letters piece, through using iReady. It's very supportive. And not only do we use iReady within intervention as multifacets, which we won't go into today, but it extends into high school. So to speak just briefly on the high school, we do have an intervention course that supports students right now as a part of our system and structure, and it's called Lit Lab. Specifically, it's at Brookside. It's for 9th and 10th graders, and we use data to triangulate data needs of students that are still struggling. They get this course in their 9th grade year, and they're getting the intervention through this course that supports their learning. We're using iReady now to really keep this continual piece learning, this continuity of learning across our middle school and our high school. So in this specific intervention block at the high school, they're using iReady, and they started with comprehension. We actually do have a few sections that are getting the phonics, just like our 6th graders are getting, because to the point of advocating, they really do need it. And there's another layer, especially within our diverse learners, that we're working on with 95% wrap. So metaphorically, the wrap piece of really wrapping around the supports that all of our kids need, to Dr. Cesario's point, from preschool all the way through 12th grade. And it really is catching fire, and it really is a movement that we all support, and we thank you all for continually speaking on it. And it's a work in progress in the training, but I say all that to give you a little bit more information on that 612 piece.
Thank you.
Super fast on
Thank
that,
you.
Superintendent. Would it be possible, because I think the priority of those classes is to make sure that the students are getting what they need, but would it be possible to ask the teachers running those classes if they are open to having a board member visit here and there just to see? Because I think that's going to be very powerful for us.
Sure. And what I was going to say, actually, is that we're continually, like today, there were several, every week there are Tier 1 site visits where there are groups of people from, I would say Lincoln Center, but yes, Lincoln Center and the Educational Services Center, directors, associate superintendents, deputy superintendent, going in to examine instruction and the work that we're doing, because not only are we doing that, we're progress monitoring what's happening to make adjustments. Ms. Lensing, all board members are welcome to come. We can share.
I just don't want to intimidate a teacher.
That's not it. I don't think it's intimidating at all.
And we want to make
it's
sure
all
there's
focused,
not more than 3 or 2 of us.
Well, yeah,
well, we have it very organized.
So can I just jump in?
You can jump in.
So I know that we have worked to set up, whether it was the data protocols or the Tier 1 site visits where the board can get a taste of what that looks like. We'll work on something like that and circle back with the board.
Great, thank you so much.
Because I do agree, it could be intimidating if 2 or 3. We could also, So we'll work to set something up
Yeah.
so the board can see it, can observe it and it's working.
We're doing it weekly. So, and it's in an effort to progress monitor the work that we're doing to make adjustments. We've already made adjustments from year 1 to year 2, and we'll continue to do that. But it is a work in progress, and it's work that's been happening for 5 years now. Making adjustments to the course offering guide at the high school level, backwards mapping all of the work. There's a lot that went into this. So, but thank you for the great questions. Thank you. This next item is renewal of Google Education Plus contract. So this is for the district to support our Gmail, our Drive space, additional classroom tools that we use, Google Meet controls, Google Classroom controls for our teachers. Okay. Item E is Aruba CX upgrade of network equipment. And this is a requirement to help to upgrade our main distribution frame switches at Lincoln Center and Brookside. And this is needed to make sure that our systems are working properly and up to date, and that we are protecting ourselves. Yes, Miss Hannah.
Oh, you could have finished.
No, that's okay.
I just want to know, would this fall under E-rate?
This particular one does not, but I can, it does not, right?
It does not.
No.
Yeah, this does not fall under E-rate.
Even though it switches and so forth, Dr. Cuevas?
That was the first question I asked too.
Right.
But it does not. I can't remember the reason, but here is Dr. Cuevas.
I am hoping that the government don't cut out E-rate.
Good evening.
Well.
No, E-rate, and there are different requirements, and because it's for Lincoln Center, we do not have students at Lincoln Center.
Yeah, I forgot
To be
about
in the
that.
building.
There you go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Cuevas.
Okay, item F, attendance at the Council of Administrators of Special Education Conference. This is really just for folks that are in the field of special education. Topics covered are policy and advocacy, and really to support our special ed administrators.
Can I ask a general question on this one? I was going to hold the comment for Jay because there's some big kudos, I think, around that piece. But given all of the work that was invested in our special education department over recent years, are we able to ever present at this conference?
And
Dr. Bublitz, you want to come up and speak? Dr. Bublitz and his team often do present at various conferences. I don't know if you're not
But I want
presenting
to know
at
about
this
this one because this is.
Go ahead.
Yes, it's something that we do look at. We were unable to, we were going to, and we're unable to present at this one, but we look forward to doing more. I can tell you Dr. Caesar, Dr. Lustenau have done many presentations, either in state and local or national. One of the reasons I'm going to CASE is I am on the CASE. It's a national committee for legislation and policy. And so we work on informing legislature, putting out different statements on policy, special ed law, and it's an opportunity for me to represent Waukegan in Illinois. So while I'm not presenting there, I'm with some of my colleagues on the committee where we do discuss some of that stuff. I can tell, there's Dr. Polk, I give her some updates that aren't always very positive on the current state of our government, and I'm able to inform Ms. Placencia as well. So I do represent us there, but I'm not currently presenting at this one. That's a long way for yes.
Okay, thanks.
I'm committee member on the Policy and Legislation Committee. Yeah.
You did state that.
And it's, I guess I'm here, so.
Yeah, thank you for
It's an
representing us.
extension of IAASE, which is our local version for CASE, and I am a board member and a co-chair of the similar, we call it legislation, policy and advocacy. So it's the same thing, but on a state level.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. All right, you may want to stay up here. The next few are for you. Okay, item G is attendance at the Closing the Gap Assistive Tech Conference. And again, this is one I had mentioned earlier when we talked about this, and this is regarding assistive technology. So it's specific to using technology to assist, a variety of technology to assist in some of our students. This is not a computer necessarily. It's more specific and tailored to meeting their individual needs. Dr. Bubbles could speak at length about this. If there are questions, I can happy to answer.
So my question is not so much on the conference. Again, it's looking at the expenses. It looks like transportation is 0 and auto mileage is being calculated between $550 to $650. And it's 2 individuals. So are 2 individuals driving 2 different cars to Minneapolis, number 1? And number 2, if so, is that really the most cost-effective way? Because Minneapolis is not far. That airfare is between $100 and $200. Yeah, but again, are we choosing the most cost-effective mode of transportation by having 2 people drive, or was this filled out incorrectly?
I can't speak. I haven't looked at those airfares.
It doesn't have an airfare. It's
yes, because
He's
they
just
are
saying he didn't.
they are driving, and
Can we?
this is Ms. Dressendorfer.
Good evening. How is everybody this evening? So I am one of the people who will be attending this conference along with 2 other staff members who are on the assistive technology team. So there will be 3 of us. And we planned to drive so that we could eliminate a car rental when we get there. So the car rental plus airfare for 3 people would be more than the $500 that it would cost at 70 cents per mile between here and Minneapolis back to here.
So you are all driving together?
That is correct.
Okay, because you guys have it on independent forms.
Right. Each individual is required to have a PD form. So
No, I understand that, but I'm talking about
But
the
they're
reimbursement for
counted
mileage it should be only going to one person.
We did only fill it out for 1 person.
So
I think it's on my form, and the other 2 should be at 0.
So if you look at, let me scroll because it's a couple of forms in here. There's one form where it's not listed, but the rate is calculated as higher. So let me check whose is this one. Fitzsimmons Olson. So it looks like her total should be around 910, but she wrote 1,500, and it looks like that 70 cents per mile is put in there. So can we have that updated and fixed so we have accurate numbers?
Absolutely.
And then it would make more sense then that 3 of you are driving together versus individually giving everybody mileage.
So the ask is to review forms and ensure that the right dollar amounts are on the correct
We will.
form.
I believe it says estimated on there, but we will do, and we have been. So I'll just reiterate that point to my team again, that they have to make sure that
It does say estimated again.
Yeah.
What I'm looking at is it's saying that 3 different individuals are driving. So
point taken.
That's what we're saying.
We'll
is
make
when
sure that
you're-
it only appears on one.
Right, but that stuff should be caught and reviewed because the other one is, it looks like Veer is also has the same issue.
We'll revisit those forms
And
before the vote.
Ms. Hannah.
The assistive technology, are you aware that we do have that in the district? You are aware?
Yes, these are IEP services for students for communication or motor skills or
I
other
know.
needs. Yes, this is the committee. These are the people who do that. And so
Okay.
they've spent 2 years working on improving the services across the district. These are their goals for work, and we've created walkthroughs and other things to make sure that the items are being used and being used correctly. And this conference is one of 2 across the nation that really bring in the folks who are innovative and bringing in new technology and even low tech and being creative with that. So yes, I am aware it is under the IDEA, and this team has worked really, really hard over the last 2 years to really make this at the forefront of what we're doing for these kids.
And just to let you know that it is somewhere in special education, this assistive technology has existed for the district for a while. Now, whether we have had any particular students of late that needed the assistive technology, I know we've
We have a lot.
graduated students with the assistive technology before.
Yeah, we have several, and we had our specialist Ben Veery was here when I got here, so we've been doing this for years. They do a great job.
It has been being done
Yeah.
for a number of years.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that that hopefully this is going to be over and above what we are already doing.
Yeah, we could probably share the data with you.
Yeah.
So,
All right,
okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Item I, attendance at the National School Social Work Conference. And this is for our social workers to enhance social emotional growth and to network with other colleagues. And again, just to look at other recent trends and identify other supports in the area of mental health and behavioral well-being for our students. Okay, item J. This is the 2025 National Association of Co-Teaching Conference, and this is for our Waukegan High School team. Some team members at our Waukegan High School. They've been invited to present on day 2 of this conference to showcase some of the innovative practices.
Congratulations.
Yes, let's get a clap for that, because that's exciting. That's exciting.
And again, the PD forms. 2 things on here, and I've asked this before, and you can see that they try to squeeze it in, that we have a separate line item that we update this form for, 1, transportation, how we're getting there, the airfare, and then have a separate line item for either ride share or transportation to and from airport, to and from hotel. Because that's not delineated out, and sometimes people don't plan for that when it's not on the form. Here, it looks like they planned for it. However, what I'm seeing is that everyone has a flight, which is fine, but then it looks like they have gas and car for each individual. So is each individual going to the conference going to get a rental car and be reimbursed for gas?
You have to come.
You gotta use the mic.
It's not about being loud, it's about being captured for the audience at home.
For the video,
Yes.
yeah. So what we did was we took the price of the rental for all 4 of us to share and divided it by 4, so each of us put 1/4 of it on our form.
Unfortunately, that's confusing.
That's very confusing,
Okay.
number 1, and 2,
But
not all 4 of you are going to be reimbursed, right? I'm assuming one person is getting that, right? So
we can redo that.
yeah, so whoever's getting the rental car, because not all 4 of you are going to get the 4th of that
Right.
back. And then it makes more sense for us to see, all right, 4 people, they got 1 car.
No problem.
But it was very thoughtful that you guys separated out, so I thank you for that.
All right. I believe the last item here is the Innovative School Summit, and this our Director of Student Outreach, Oscar. Did I miss one? right, hold on a second. Sorry about that, Greg.
We'll jump it up.
H, attendance at the LRP Special Education Legal Conference. And do you want to speak to this?
Not if there's not any questions, so let's wait.
Oh, all right then. So we already went over I, and then K is Innovative School Summit. And this addresses learning loss and supporting positive behavior.
I'm just going to take a moment here because it's at the bottom of our development, is that when we're going to these conferences, and I include the board in this, for those breakout sessions, it is my hope that we are being strategic with the opportunity and making sure that we are spreading out and covering the bases so that we can come together and maximize on the conference opportunities. So as the board goes to Cube, for those of us that are, to make sure that we're not double tripling up on the same breakout session, is going to be more beneficial to our district. So if that can just be a mindset within the teams that are going, that have a more choose your own style professional development, if we can have that as a goal, that'd be great.
Okay. Thank you
Thank
very much,
you.
Dr. Cesario. With that, I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn.
So,
Motion by Ms. Fabian, second by Ms. Lensing.
yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned at 9:22 PM.
Night, everybody.
All right, what?